The G Pro X Superlight 2 is for sure one of the more anticipated releases of 2023. There are good quality upgrades and some upgrades which can affect the performance in a very positive way, so let's go through what's changed since the original Superlight. Starting from the weight, which is now massively changed from 63 grams to 59 grams on my scale, I can just about feel the difference, and overall the Superlight 2 feels very lightweight for its size. The shape of the mouse feet is now slightly changed, but it doesn't make a difference in my experience. These are okay on smooth pads, but with some rougher surfaces you're gonna have some trouble, and these are definitely not the best dog feet around. The click feel is now entirely different, as the Superlight 2 now uses optical switches, and these are quite snappy and tactile, but in my opinion even too tactile, as the actuation is quite heavy. So these are by no means easy to spam, so tap firing and such is not going to be very easy, which is a very big downside for me, as the OG Superlight had very light and easy to actuate clicks, and they were very functional for in-game purposes. If I were to actually make a list of which optical implementations feel the best for me in-game, this would be it, and the GPX2 would be all the way at the bottom. Keep in mind that click feel is subjective, so not all people need to spam their clicks really fast or tap fire in the games that they play. For those people the GPX2 clicks might be good. And I also of course only got one unit, so I could just be unlucky in terms of how heavy the clicks feel on this one. But what I'm not unlucky about is the fact that these side buttons actually do feel improved over the GPX1. They are much more snappy than previously, and there is less pre-travel. The post-travel is there if you really use quite a bit of force to actuate them, but this is not something I would feel in-game. And surprisingly, the scroll wheel is also a little bit smoother, so the steps are a little bit less tactile than on the GPX1. But let's move on and talk about the main upgrade of the Superlight 2, which is the Hero 2 sensor. The mouse is of course now capable of 2000 Hz, but there are also a few other differences. For example, now you can actually control lift-off distance, which is very good for those people who want to use high LOD. And you can also calibrate your Superlight 2 to match your previous mouse's DPI. But what we really care about is the performance, and the Superlight 2 does not disappoint. Motion latency, for example, is similar to many other competitors at 4000 Hz. And in-game the implementation feels extremely smooth. I can't really feel a difference with 4000 Hz mice, but the Viper Mini at 8000 Hz does feel smoother. Click latency then again is not too impressive, as the result I got with 2000 Hz is about 1.1 milliseconds. I mean, it's still good, but looking at the competition, the Pwnage Stormbreaker for example has 0.65 milliseconds at 2000 Hz. And there are still 1000 Hz mice that have lower click latency, and even the original Superlight has pretty much the same click latency with 1000 Hz. But the thing is that I did not get this mouse directly from Logitech, and they are not responding to my DMs, so I can't fully confirm if there is some weird issue with the test point or something. So to at least somewhat confirm my click latency results, I had to run some end-to-end tests, which are not the most accurate when I'm just interested in click latency, but the ballpark values that I get from here are very close to Pulsar 4K mice, which then I can confirm my click latency results. So the click latency is not bad, but it's not something that I would be expecting from a premium brand and their flagship mouse. All the measurements were done with the optical only mode on the LIGHTFORCE switch, and if you decide to use the hybrid mode, the latency increases to 1.8 milliseconds. Let's quickly talk about battery life, which was amazing with the Superlight 1, but now with the Superlight 2, it seems to be very similar to the Razer Viper V2 Pro at 2000 Hz. You can increase the battery life a bit by using the hybrid mode on the LIGHTFORCE switch, but that does also increase the latency. The pricing seems to be $149 and 169 euros, which at least aligns with the Superlight 1 in Europe. The launch price was 159 euros, but it was raised about 2 weeks or maybe a month later. I am happy to see that the price was not increased at least, but 169 euros, $149 is still quite a bit of money. And one question with that of course is that is the value good? And for those people that have the Superlight 1, does it make sense for you to upgrade? If you just consider value for money, I don't think there is any way that it would make sense for you to upgrade. The Superlight 1 already had a very good performance for 1000 Hz and the clicks are extremely nice for those in-game scenarios. But there are still of course those pros for the Superlight 2, and if you do not have the Superlight 1, then it might make sense for you to get the Superlight 2, especially if the price difference is not massive. All in all, other than the clicks, the Superlight 2 is pretty much exactly what I expected, and it's a little bit boring for me. There was never really any question about their 2K performance, at least for me. It would have been nice for them to go 4K, and it would have been interesting for them to go 8K, but that's just not the case. Let's see if we get some updates in the future, but I'm not very positive about that because the antenna is very small compared to the other brands, so you can't fit a very large antenna in here. It's a very good product as everybody expected, but I would not recommend it over the Superlight 1 if you end up using it at 1000 Hz. The main downside for me was that heavy click feel, and of course the mouse feet are not up to par with other top tier brands. If you're interested in seeing what CSGO pros use the Superlight or the Superlight 2, check out my video right here, and thank you guys so much for watching and see you in the next one.